Welcome to the Project Exodus podcast series on OFM Podcasts. Join us weekly as we explore critical topics on addiction and recovery through insightful discussions, heartfelt interviews, and practical Q&A sessions with members of the Project Exodus team and community. Project Exodus is dedicated to making expert recovery interventions accessible to all communities. Through this podcast series, our hope is that understanding and support for those on the path to recovery will be enhanced. Whether you're personally recovering, supporting someone else, or just curious, join us in building a community of awareness, compassion, and hope.
Welcome to this week's episode on the Project Exodus podcast series. Today I have Sade and Debbie joining us. Sade is one of the staff members at Project Exodus, and Debbie is a pastor at Homeground, and she has running the Homeground Recovery Group for 3 years now. Hey,
That's right.
So awesome. So they are just both here today to answer some questions that we've received from our community around Project Exodus and what you do. And so I think we can just get started. So the first question is that, can Project Exodus help my loved one if they don't want to be helped? Do you
want to go for it, Deb?
Great question. I think simple answer is no.
Okay, cool.
Longer answer, and the reason behind that no is I don't think that anyone can walk out a recovery journey on behalf of someone else.
Yeah, that's good.
And so if someone doesn't want help, they don't want help.
Yeah.
And so supporters often can go blue in the face trying to do it on behalf of somebody else, but it will never actually work.
Yeah.
So although Project Exodus offers incredible resources and opportunities and groups and spaces and whatever that promote recovery, if someone doesn't actually want to do it, nobody else can do it for them.
Sure.
I don't know if you have anything else to add.
And I would just encourage that person to, that even though they can't get help for their loved one who isn't willing, they can get help for themselves.
Right.
Because it's not just focused on the individual that's in addiction, but also focused on loved ones and families. Like our programs extend to the loved ones that are affected by addiction. So it would just be turning that around to being like, okay, your loved one isn't willing yet, but we can help you.
Oh, so good, yeah.
Nice. All right, cool. The next one is, where is Project Exodus based?
Everywhere.
Nice.
No, so our head office is in Durban North.
Okay.
But we have groups and hubs or centres across South Africa, and they now extend into Ireland, America, Australia, and the UK. So it's really, really exciting. But the team are based predominantly in Durban North.
Nice. Yeah, and Debbie, you run basically one of the hubs at Homeground.
I do, yeah.
So how has that been working with the team and having that group there?
It's been awesome. So we're based in Westville. So just to reiterate, and I think like the heart of Project Exodus is to just be everywhere and to make recovery accessible to people in lots of different places. And one of the primary spaces that they use is the local church. And so being a pastor in a local church, a bunch of years ago, we identified that one of the biggest issues in our community was drug abuse. And so we started the journey of, okay, what are we going to do about this? And we stumbled upon Project Exodus. That's a whole story in itself. But, through relationship and whatever. But, I think just, so I don't personally have an addiction background or recovery background. I'm not a supporter directly to somebody in addiction. But as a pastor of a church wanting to bring about change in this area, I was like, okay, what do I do? And completely, to be honest, going in totally blind. Like I knew nothing. So I know people. I understand people. I know how to manage groups and facilitate groups, and I've been a pastor for 20 odd years. And so I get that, and I'm counseling, and I've got a psychology background and whatever. But in terms of the actual addiction space, I literally knew nothing.
Oh, wow.
And so partnering with Project Exodus, they have put the tools into the hands of someone who knows nothing and have upskilled me enough to a point now we're 3 years down the line, and the way that I talk is like completely different. I sometimes I'm like, oh, I sound like one of those Project Exodus people.
You are one
because I am, totally. And so it's been a really cool journey. Right in the very beginning when we started our group, a bunch of the team came in for the first few Monday nights. We ran on a Monday. And they facilitated the group for us so that we could watch it modeled. And then we would kind of share the leadership, and then they gave us a little bit of kind of leeway. Then we were doing it by ourselves, but I knew that they were a phone call away, still a phone call away.
Yeah.
And then just the resources that are offered are just incredible and so user-friendly. So yeah, it's been incredible. So yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sade, do you want to share anything just from being on the other side and seeing Debbie kind of jump into that space? And
yeah, I mean, it's so encouraging because obviously Project Exodus officially started on the back end of 2018, and I've been on the team since January 2019. So it's so amazing to see that all the work and everything that's been put into it, that the model is sustainable and that the model works. And just through Deb's story and through her heart and for her community, that the model's been able to been taken both hands. And to now have, how many people did you have in your group on Monday night?
About 50 something,
Incredible.
Weekly.
People that come from the community and the surrounding areas to be there on a Monday night and that are getting fed recovery. And that are a lot of them part of your community as well, like on a
At
Sunday.
church, totally. Yeah.
And so that just shows that the power is in the local church, as Deb said. And it's just so encouraging for us on the team as well to be witness to the fact that the model does work. And it's really encouraging for us as well, because that's our heart, is to empower individuals, empower churches, empower organizations, and to collaborate together, to work together like we have with Deb. And to innovate, to create a new way of doing recovery. So Deb's story and with her community and with in Westville is encouraging for us.
I think just to say, like, the beauty of one of the things I love about our church is that we are a very authentic church. There's not a thing of like you need to change who you are to come to church, which I know quite a few churches, there's a bit of a lack of, I need to check my stuff at the door. So we have been that already, but I really feel that like as a leader in a church, like the leadership of the church needs to own this, because it's a culture that has to be created. Because the heart is that people will come into the group, but then they also will filter into the life of the church. That's really the hope. And the beauty of having a group and a church work alongside each other is that there's so much that a church naturally offers that, you know, facilitators on a Monday night can't necessarily do that, but join a life group, serve here at church. Those are all good things for recovery, and a church naturally offers that. And so I think if a church can get their leadership on board and really embrace the culture, because it's a different crew of people that are on a journey somewhere, and sometimes from very rough spaces, that then arrive at church on Sunday, and the church has to be ready for that as well. You know, we don't want to have to then check your stuff at the door. So
very cool. That's awesome. Okay, so the next one we have is are you a rehab? So is Project Exodus a rehab?
The most commonly asked question for anybody that's handled anything in Project Exodus. So essentially, no, we're not an inpatient treatment center. However, we do work very closely with treatment centers across South Africa. And what we do is we want to be like, okay, cool, bring your individual in for an assessment and screening. Let's, recovery is addiction is so individualized that recovery has to be individualized as well. So it's not just a case of like, let's jump on a website and let's go to a treatment center. That we call guys to come in to have assessments, and those that are in different provinces, we lead them to guys that are in those provinces. And then we're able to refer properly and to treatment centers that are within budget, or within need, or within all of the criteria of that individual. So short answer is no, we're not an inpatient treatment center, but we are able to refer you should the need be that an individual, because not everybody that's in addiction, needing recovery, needs inpatient. There is a need for inpatient treatment, and we acknowledge that, and we know the power of like a long-term treatment. We have people on our team that can give testimony to that. But it's not the only way to get recovery. So obviously there are many other services that Project Exodus offer in terms of outpatient programs, in terms of coaching, in terms of groups. So it's helpful to meet with individuals and be like, okay, what is your situation? Okay, cool, these are your options. So that's the long answer.
Okay, cool. And then just to ask, just for those who don't know, what is the clear difference between inpatient program and outpatient program? Like, where's the line between that?
Sure. So an inpatient treatment center is somewhere that you would go and be booked into for a period of time.
Right.
Shortest would be 21 days. Longest could be up to 18 months.
Okay.
And that would be somewhere where you would stay and you'd live, and it's usually contracted to some sort of medical aid, or if it's done privately. Outpatient program is the ability to get the same level of resource and equipping that you would get in an inpatient treatment center, but to be able to stay at home or stay wherever you're living, so you could still maintain a job. A lot of guys have responsibilities where they have to provide for families, or they have children and moms can't go into treatment centers. So an outpatient program allows the same level of equipping that you'd have inpatient, with the affordability and the accessibility of doing it 2 evenings a week, or on a Saturday, or online even, because a lot of the guys that run our outpatient program, a lot of our affiliates that run programs such as Deb, like Deb runs an in-person program in Westville, but we've got guys that do it online as well. So that's accessible from anywhere in the world.
Very cool.
So that would be, if that's...
Okay, cool. Do you want to add anything on to that?
Nope.
Okay, cool, nice.
That's a perfect answer.
Lovely. All right, cool. Okay, next question is, when did Project Exodus start?
So I think the desire was birthed in our director and founder, Conrad Cooper, many years ago. But we officially launched at a recovery conference in September of 2018.
Okay.
And we've been running since then. Started with a team of 2, and then came me. That was 3.
Okay.
And now we're like 16.
Sure.
16 guys on our team,
Wow.
partners all over the country. And it has expanded, I think, beyond our beyond what we thought was possible. And to just have guys on our team and everybody coming with a testimony, with a story of either loved ones in addiction or stories themselves. And I think it's a real testament to God and what he's wanting to do, because at the end of the day, Project Exodus is his. And I think that it's such a privilege to be able to have been witness to start to where we are now. But
That's awesome. Okay. All right, the next one is, how do you help people that can't afford treatment? So I guess this kind of does touch a bit on what you've mentioned, but let's say someone just has no financial backing. How would you help them?
I mean, I think that's the heart of Project Exodus and why
absolutely.
it started, because the majority of people who need treatment can't afford it, is the reality. And so from my understanding, it was just such a beautiful thing to say, well, let's partner with a local church. Their desire is to help.
Resource to help.
And they've got resource to help. And so, and there's a local church everywhere. So maybe we could do that partnership thing. And so people don't have to pay to come to our support group on a Monday night. And so that is a free resource to people. And then kind of the church would then partner with Project Exodus to make that happen. So the whole program, although there are some paid elements like the ERS outpatient program, that's a paid thing. But largely and at a fraction of the cost.
Yes, I was going to say, in comparison to
still very affordable,
to where treatment costs are, even just in terms of South Africa, that it is at a fraction of the cost for
incredible resources. It's an incredible program. So our journey is, we started with a support group, and then the next step we took was we opened a recovery house, which is a sober living environment. Ours is for men, and so we kind of started that process, and then we've started the ERS program, which is Exodus Recovery Skills. And just to have that combination, to really see the depth of the journey that people are on. And so definitely the guys that are just in a support group compared to people who have been through ERS, which that is the paid thing, it just takes you on a whole nother level. It asks questions and causes you to consider your recovery at a whole nother level. And so it is outstanding material, and then still accessible at a fraction of the cost to a rehab. And as you say, then you can do it people who can't give up their job or still have to live at home, that also would be a cost, you know. So, yeah.
Because also I think it's sometimes easier for individuals to stay in the chaos of addiction because they still maintaining work, they have families. So this now gives them an opportunity to not have that chaos, but still have everything that's considered to be keeping them on track with jobs and families and that sort of thing. And I think that one of the other great things about resource from the local church is that when there are families and individuals that are in your community that need to be part of the program but can't, the church are then equipped to be able to be like, okay, cool, we can do it at this fee, or we can do it at that fee, or we can help. And there's members of the community that then are able to say, okay, well, we could sponsor somebody into the recovery house, you know, every 3 months, twice a year, or whatever the case may be. So we're really able to pull on that resource of individuals who have a desire to help, but haven't known where to point that help. The more we expand what Project Exodus does, and the more we're able to then show people that actually this need is far greater than what we think it is. It's not just the guys that are on the side of the road. The need is far deeper and definitely in our churches. Then the more resource that we can actually pour into helping individuals that need the help. So I mean, like that Deb said, like many people don't get it. I mean, the stats are like 87% of people who need treatment can't afford it or don't get it. So like one of our missions is to really turn that around and actually make it more accessible and more people able to find freedom in recovery.
It's such a ridiculously high stat, eh?
It's crazy.
87%, and they can't. It's crazy.
Sure.
And then I think just to add to that, like again, speaking with my church hat on, like we would often have people come to us with something related to addiction of my loved one or whatever. And then the church would be hustling, saying, we actually don't know what to do. Every time it's like this massive thing. And now just to be able to say, starting point, just come on a Monday, 7 o'clock. Just come on a Monday, 7 o'clock. There's a place to point them. And then that journey kind of unfolds. So it's really a benefit both sides.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Just to throw in a question there. So let's say that there is a pastor or a leader listening to this, and they're apprehensive about doing it. Like, oh, can I do it or should I do it? They know there's a need, but you know, can I actually do it? Like, how would you respond to that?
In terms of like, are they able?
Yes. Yeah.
If I can do it, anyone can do it. That's what I have to say. I think if you love people and you are okay to deal with people who are broken, then literally Project Exodus will give you the skills to do the rest of the stuff. I think it is the relationship that we have with Project Exodus. It's more a relationship than a partnership, because there's a friendship. It's an ongoing thing. It's not just this kind of transactional relationship.
Yeah, that's good.
And so just the support that's received. But as I said, I didn't know anything about addiction or recovery. And I honestly, to be honest, I thought as a church leader I was going to set up a team and release them to fly, and I would be out of there in 3 months. And 3 years later, I'm there every single Monday. And to be honest, I love it. The journey with individuals, although it is so heartbreaking at times, I want to pull my hair out at times, don't know what to do at times. It is literally watching miracles in front of your face, you know, and how God just moves and works with people. So it's worth it. And I would say to whoever's interested, don't discount yourself, because if you love people and you love God, the other stuff, as case in point, can be taught.
Yeah, that's so good.
So
that's awesome. All right, cool. We've got another question here. So we sort of touched on it a bit, but what is the heart of Project Exodus?
Me?
So I mean, nutshell is that the heart of Project Exodus is that no one is left behind. So we diligently work at being able to innovate and develop programs and partner with individuals that are able to continue to expand the reach of recovery, so that we can radically
I think you mean radically revolutionize.
Yes, great. And this is why we have Deb here. We have Deb to
translate.
To translate. And that's, you know, we want to change the way recovery works. And I think that we don't want to let anyone be discounted. I think addiction is a great equalizer. and we want to be able to ensure that recovery is available to everyone.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I think just the phrase "for the one."
Yeah. So good.
So although I said there were 50 people there on Monday, it's actually 50 ones. It's 50 individuals. It doesn't matter how many people are there.
Yeah.
It's not about how many people you can get, because to be honest, we have been through seasons where we really couldn't cope with that amount of people.
Yeah.
Or seasons where we could cope and no one just wanted to come, you know? So it's all about whoever is there and is wanting hope and change and freedom. And it's about that one that's sitting in front of you. I think Jesus was like that he saw the one, he went after the one, and that's the heart of Exodus as well, you know?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Cool. Well, we have come to the end of the questions for today. So just as we sort of wrap up, is there any closing comments or things you guys want to share from what we discussed today?
Yeah, I think if anything, I think what Deb is saying in terms of if you're listening and you feel like this is something that you may want to do, but you don't feel equipped to do it, don't discount yourself. I love what Deb said there. And I think that reach out, whether it's somebody that you know, it's you, or it's a desire that you have for your community. I think Project Exodus is able to assist in any one of those categories. And just a pleasure being able to be with Deb and be on the podcast. And
cool. Lovely.
Final words. I don't know if I have any final words. Actually, okay, here we go. I think that a lot of people, maybe especially who are a little bit like me and don't understand addiction, find it very scary. And because it's a little bit taboo and a little bit unknown or foreign, like I don't know, we've got like such preconceived ideas of, I don't know, what an addict looks like or whatever. And they're so completely wrong, those preconceptions so often. And so I think just to say that recovery is so needed in our nation and our communities. Like you said, it's an equalizer. There's no face to addiction. It's everywhere, and it doesn't show any prejudice, you know. Addiction will trap anyone it can. And so I think it's just to open yourself up to engaging with people and just loving people, you know.
It's beautiful.
And I think if you're open to that sort of stuff, just being Jesus and whatever, like there's actually nothing to be afraid of. You don't have to have all the answers. Just be willing to take someone's hand and walk with them, you know. And I think that's what the church should be doing. And here there's a beautiful partner who's saying, we'll help you. So if your church is able to, it's such an amazing gift also to your community and a way to be relevant in the world today. So
Awesome.
Cool.
It's a really good way to land today, because also that's actually our last episode today. So thank you, Sade, thank you, Debbie, for being here today and just sharing from your experience.
Thanks.
And to all the viewers out there, we just want to say thank you so much for listening, and dankie baie for the OFM radio for just allowing us to just share this podcast out. If you want to know anything else about Project Exodus, go to our website, www.projectexodus.net, and be sure to share this episode or any of the other episodes from the previous weeks if you feel like this is relevant content for people that you know. And thank you so much for listening. I've been your host, Gerhardus Van Den Berg, and tot ziens, lekker dag verder, and we'll see you again sometime soon.